What's going on, everybody? Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. I hope that all my chosen queens and all my chosen kings. I hope y'all are feeling amazing. I'm sure y'all are looking amazing. You're feeling good, getting blessed, glowing. Um, and part of the title is everybody can see that. Okay, so listen, you make people have to do a double take, do a double look, looking at you. And this is not me trying to, stroke egos or whatever the case may be, but some of y'all, including myself, are, noticing this. And, it's usually the same people that doubted you. But they're doing like a double look. Like if you look at people's faces, you even can notice their expressions. You know what I'm trying to say? Like now that not only do you have discernment and you pay attention to who you're giving your time to, your energy to, and just things like that, you can also notice the body language of people. You can notice the expressions of people, and as they're doing a double take, a double look at you, the expression gives off like shocked. Like as they're doing this double take and double look at you, it's like, wow, like I never expect him to, become this, or I never expected her to become this, because like I said previously, not only are you, changed, and renewed in the spirit. Okay, but what's on the inside is going to come out on the outside. So just, not only just, you physically, but yeah, you physically, in a good way. Just, people could see the joy on you, right? At some point in your life, I'm gonna go ahead. At some point in your life, when people were draining you, people, you were giving the wrong people your time that were using you for your energy. They knew you were anointed, and that anointing is something powerful, right? Anything that's attached to you, it will win. But now it's just not that easy, right? And that's also when people are doing a double take, a double look at you. It's like they see and notice, in different ways and areas that you're able to have a thin line of boundaries, right? You're able to, you know, you know now when to give, who to give, how to give, and how much. Right? You know when to draw that line. See, before you didn't know when to draw that line. See, with them, and it was between them and you, it was always a thin line of hate and love, right? They love you, right? They secretly admire you, and they love what they love how you do things, and they admire you, and they look up to you. But there is that thin line of, man, I wish I could do what she do. Man, I wish I could do what he do. Man, if I was in his shoes. God still has to work on people's hearts, right? And that's when it doesn't stop you from loving from a distance. And this is just with different people, right? This is just with different family members, right? Some family members are probably able to have a little bit more access to you, and some are not, right? Some are not, right? God knows that thin line between love and hate in you, right? So God is working on, not only us, but he's working on other people. Okay. But, so when they get into your presence and they do a double take and a double look at you, you know, part of that thin line between love and hate is that people know what they did to you, right? People know what they said to you. People know they what they expected of you, and they weren't expecting much. So for them not to expect much and not to believe in you as much and to get this far to where you're at, and to you it may not seem like much, but it is, because now you're realizing, you know, how much you have in yourself. You're realizing who you are, right? You're realizing how intelligent you are. You're realizing how wise you are. You're realizing the man and the woman that God created you to be. And you're realizing you can do all things through Christ, which gives you the strength. And he will send other people to help and work out in your favor, because you also have favor over your life. So you were never alone. And a lot of people, you know, the same ones who do this double look and double take at you, they tried to make it their goal and their target. Maybe some are family, some are friends. You know who these people are, right? And sometimes, and I'm constantly seeing these videos because a lot of times God will bring people into our presence. God will bring you into their presence, and He will test you. He will test other people. You pass the test. Some people He might bring a little bit more, who's like I say, being faithful over a few things, but some people are still not passing that test. God is not asking, for perfection, but for us to try, right? So as He's bringing these people back into your life, some of these people, they made it their goal and their target to leave you alone or leave you in certain situations to make you fold, make you give up. And the fact that they do that take the double look, like you've came up on top like never before, because God will use those same enemies that not try, but demoted you. He will use them to promote you. Every time you're in a situation where they think you're not going to make it out of, you make it out higher than you were before. And that's also part of that double take, that double look. It's like, wow, every time they see you getting more blessed. They see you glowing more. Because like I said earlier, at some point, maybe when people were draining the life out of you on the inside, it was showing. It was showing. And God never forgot about you, but He was showing you the things and the people, um, and what was draining you, what was sucking the life out of you. See, now you're in your calling, you're in your assignment, you're understanding God more and more, and that gives you more joy. That gives you more strength. Speaking of strength, I just got done working out and stuff like that. So make sure you guys, as God is building your strength, the enemy, he's also watching you get to higher and higher levels. You need to make sure that you are 10 steps above the enemy. How do we get 10 steps? And I know I'm going all over the place. Keep up. How do we get 10 steps above the enemy? Make sure you guys are trying to, if not already, get into the gym. Okay, you don't have to be lifting weights, but even if it's just, walking your pets or taking a walk around a neighborhood, or even, just some type of, just building your strength, doing something that, you're not used to doing. It's okay to get out of the norm, God says. Because see, this is what throws the enemy off. See, when people do that that double look at you, you're throwing them off because you're doing everything and you're consistently doing everything. They see you're moving with purpose. They see that you're not a stingy person, but you're becoming, you have to be stingy with your energy. You're being stingy with your time. You're not wasting time. You're not wasting energy. You're getting a peace of mind. You're not tolerating the same crap like how you used to. That don't mean you're being argumentative. That don't mean you're being aggressive. You're definitely not going back and forth with the enemy. Those things don't faze you anymore. So when they do a double look at you, they're also noticing how you're able to love your enemies. People are doing that double look. This is like, wow, he's still able to love on me. She's still able to love on me. But you draw like how with them, there's that thin line between love and hate. You also have that thin line with your boundaries and that thin line between who you give your energy to, your time to. You forgive, but you didn't forget. And when I say you didn't forget, that don't mean that you're holding a grudge or you're holding, things against people, but you're still remembering who people are, right? And until they really, really show and prove to you, right? But you have done the work. You're doing the healing. You're doing the forgiving. So it's like, love from a distance. So, they're like, oh, okay. See, you're doing the opposite of what they expected you to do. And see, this is an amazing thing for you. And it also reminds people on how they really messed up on a good thing, right? Because see, people shouldn't have judged you from your mistakes to begin with, but you were never your mistakes. Your pain does not define who you are, right? It made you stronger, right? Your testimony shows, that there's nothing that God could, that God wouldn't see you through. And, people seen what you went through. They seen the trials and the obstacles that you were going through because, see, during that time, they were also used to you telling your business. And they also notice how they might ask certain things, or they're interested more into you now. But see, again, you're loving from a distance, but you're drawing that line. See how at one point in your life, they were confusing you. They were bringing confusion into you, having you question what's going on and having you question your reality. And now you're making them question themselves. But see, you're not doing it in a manipulative, malicious way. That's the thing. See, you're pure. Your heart is pure. You have good intentions. You always have good intentions, right? That's why you never had an issue if there was a misunderstanding, or if you did know you did something wrong, you asked God for forgiveness, and you also never didn't mind apologizing. See, these are the same people that when there's that really thin line between love and hate, notice how they never apologize, right? They'll do all the good things, and family too. They do all the good things to try to reel you back in to make you forget, because that's that guilty consciousness. But it's okay because you forgave them, right? But people can be blocking their blessings. And not only they miss out on a good thing, but really blocking their blessings of what more God can do for them if they really just apologize. Because just like us, see, I thought I forgave, but did I really forgive? Right? And God is working on us each and every single day. Now, see, yes, you're anointed. Yes, you have favor, and yes, you apologize. But, God is also working on everybody's hearts. And he's telling you that it's okay. He's teaching you how to love. Why did I think about Musiq Soulchild? Teach me how to love. He's teaching you how to love, especially people that really, really hurt you. But see, they're confused because, see, they're confused on how you're able to still love your enemies. Because little do they know, little do they know that God will, yes, he will use your enemies as your footstool. But a lot of people, they don't know that. They really don't. See, when you're chosen, you're actually chosen, you're really, really connected to the source. You're really connected to the divine and God. And that's why, like I told y'all earlier, as you're being 10 steps ahead by loving on your enemies, but God is teaching you how to love from a distance. Like how they got that thin line between love and hate. It's not like you're acting accordingly, but it's not affecting you. Like you're not acting accordingly, because sometimes people could say act accordingly and they could still stoop down to people's level. But you're acting accordingly by knowing who people are, still loving on your enemies, because yes, God will make them your footstool. Forgiveness is for you also, so you can heal, so you can move on, so you don't block your blessings. And so you're not, and part of you, setting that line of boundary with certain people, because you know how they are. You know them by the fruits that they bear specifically. God taught us chosen ones that. And you know that some of these people were after your destiny. So you're definitely going to draw that line of boundary to not let the enemy, come in to try to distract you from your purpose. That's why I said earlier, hopefully you guys are catching up with me, being 10 steps ahead. You are being 10 steps ahead. And you're not doing all of this to make people do a double look or double take at you. See, this is nothing personal. Like some people think that you switching up because you bother, but you're actually very unbothered, and that's also why they do a double take and double look at you. You're not looking like what you've been through, and you're so unbothered. Because see, people knew they took you through there. They knew. But see, you didn't stay in that broken place. You didn't stay. See, people expected you to stay down. That's why they were trying to kick you while you were down. They seen you was down. They didn't lend out a helping hand. God did, but they seen you when you was down. And again, this is for my chosen queens and my chosen queens and kings and whoever's watching me. But that's why they were kicking you while you were down. Because they really wanted you to, okay, I see her down or I see him down. I'm not going to help them. I'm going to sabotage them more. I'm going to say more demeaning words. I'm going to say more demeaning things. I'm going to make them doubt themselves, make them not believe in themselves, make them think that no one else also believes in them. So they're going to project their fears and project their insecurities. They seen potential in you because they were hating on you, envious of you. They wanted to kick you while you were down. They seen you down. They knew you had potential. They knew he was strong. They knew she was strong. They knew you were strong. So let me kick them while they're down because I really want to put them in the gutter. I really want them to stay down. And the fact that you rose up, I'm hearing rose up like Lazarus did out the tomb. When Jesus, amen, brought him out from the dead. So it's like they cannot tell you what your God won't do, what our God won't do. So that double look, that double take, the glory of God is all over you. You are not looking like what you've been through. Because see, at some point, we were looking like what we was going through. And that's not a bad thing because God was working on us. And that helped us not to be afraid. Not for that. That wasn't, see how y'all see my videos. That wasn't, not that I was going through stuff. But yeah, we all go through stuff. But I'm saying that wasn't the main focus on how I'm going to look going through something. Right? It was just having faith, believing in God to see you through this, to get through this. You're not supposed to know everything that's going to, the finished result all the time. That's the whole point and purpose of life. But just know that you have a purpose, and God's plans is to give you a hope in the future. And that was a lot of pressure, but God knew you could do it. See, he believed in you. And everything that, and people are now seeing that they should have believed in you. You're becoming and you're doing all the things that you put your mind to. See, some people, they all talk. And when I say all talk, I'm not saying that, you may have an idea or you're thinking of an idea and, just ideas. I'm talking about people that do stuff for show, all talk. See, you don't do stuff for show. Believe it or not, you don't show off. You're confident, and your confidence comes from God. Because at one point, people had us insecure. They had us feeling low. And at some point, when we were looking like what we were going through, that affected us too. Because see, that wasn't us. But it's okay because God knew what he was about to do with you. It was not over, right? That was God saying, listen, it is not over until God said it's over. It's not done until God said it's done. So don't question God when he's telling you to love on your enemies. Don't question God. Because see, he knows what they did. That's why when we love our enemies, is notice how it's not all the family members. It's not all the friends. Some people, it's not people at all. Because they really going through stuff. And not only have they not apologized, but he don't want them taking all that out on you. That really did no work whatsoever. They just knew that they shouldn't have counted you out, and they want you back into their lives. But back to the all talk, you do what you say you're going to do. And they see that, they notice that, and they're interested in that. But see, guess what? You keep things to a minimum. You know now to not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Some people, they have a spirit, a spirit of witchcraft, a spirit of, praying on your downfall before, that thing happens. You're answering the question, you're responding, but you're not, you're being smart. See, you're moving smart. God is teaching you how to move smart. And you moving smart by confusing the enemy. See, the enemy thought that he was getting up and one up on you. See, these try to one up on you, but they having a hard time trying to one up on you now because listen, you're doing different things, you're going to different places, you're moving different. People can't figure you out. They can't figure your schedule out. Because again, you're 10 steps above the enemy. Sometimes God has you up later than usual at night. And you like, people be like, oh, well, the wicked get no rest. No. That's not for you. But you're thinking of ideas. God is really seeing you not only through this, but God is really seeing you higher. And listen, I know you're excited. Not only can you see it, you can feel it, they can as well. But again, it's not personal. It's not like, oh, look at me now, da 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 da. No. So I think that's really all I had to say. So I love y'all so, 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 so much. Okay, continue doing the inner work, continue to heal. Of course, continue to stay prayed up and positive. Continue to, speak highly and, and encourage yourself. And that's what also makes you so resilient and strong. Is that, you motivate yourself, right? People are, okay, yeah. So, there was also people that are shocked, that double take. They're shocked because, and they look at you like, he looked good, she looked good. They had a good thing, but the serious aspect is that they're you're not, they see that you're not needing them how they want you to need them. Because see, you realize you didn't need them in those ways that were going to hurt you, right? If anything, they see how they can need you now to build them while they're down. At the end of the day, you're heaven sent. Like spiritually, you pray for people. You want the best for people. You're highly anointed. You're not like everybody else, in a powerful, good way, in a powerful, positive way, in a powerful, anointed way. Everyone is not anointed. That don't mean that God don't love us all. That don't mean that people don't mean well. But everybody is not anointed. That's why your calling is so much bigger than you think it is. It's literally out of this world. The enemy, he don't come for everybody like how he come for you. That's why it's like, wow, she made it out of that. Wow, he made it out of that. And he's still going, she's still going, and you're prospering. And not only you're not just surviving, but you're thriving. Because God is teaching you how to not be in survival mode, but to let go and let him. Trust him. Trust that this is his battle. Because we're so used to, people are, they see, like, listen, you're so used to being without them. Now they want to come back in and make you need them, but you already went through there, right? You got to go through it to get to it, and you got to it. You get into it. So anything else extra is really icing on the cake. Is really God using your enemies as your footstool while you're loving on them. So you can use that footstool, amen, to get higher and higher to your destiny, higher and higher and closer to your purpose. So you're in your purpose. You're in your calling. So, let me go ahead and go, okay? Because listen, let me go ahead and go. I love you all so, 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 so much. Okay. And I will see you all next time. Okay.